good for Norman. Also Cole, Goldsby, Washington, Noble, South Newcastle, Highway 9, Riverwind Casino. Emily Sutton is down there. No tornado warning right now, but there's a strong couplet on the east side of Blanchard rolling directly toward Norman. Conditions are very favorable for tornadoes to develop in that storm, along with baseball and larger size hail in the purple. So we'll check in with Emily here momentarily. She's right there looking at it. Say that again. Let's go to Emily live. Go, Emily.
Yeah, Mike, we just got up to this storm. You can see the base of the clouds. There's definitely a lowering, and into the distance I can see what could likely be the big hail core. We just heard a ping of hail, actually, out ahead of this storm. We're located on Highway 9, a little bit further west of I-35, and we're going to continue to track this along Highway 9 as it heads towards very populated areas. So I've been watching some inflow into this storm, and we're starting to get a little bit of hail right now, so we're probably going to start tracking east.
Okay, Emily, appreciate that. Emily is reporting from Norman. She is ahead of that storm. Emily, it looks like that couplet's going to probably cross near Highway 9 or maybe on the southern sides of Highway 9. It's a strong velocity couplet on the eastern side of Blanchard right now. If it keeps on its current track, that mesocyclone you're looking at there, that'll travel near Highway 9 and I-35 or maybe just south of the river a little ways. Very close to Riverwind is where that is heading, and pretty much right toward Norman and Noble and Goldsby is where that is headed. And it's a strong couplet, again, located just about 3 miles south-south west of our Doppler site down in the South Newcastle area. Let's go back to the Carney area with this large violent tornado with Bob Moore, Chopper 4. John?
Okay.
You're on, John. Go, John, you're on. Live report from John Welsh near Carney.
Yeah, can you hear me, Mike?
Yes, go ahead.
All right, yeah, right now we're still following the storm. We're over the lake that's here right there by Chandler, and it's pretty much almost wrapped itself up in rain as far as we can see. You can probably tell better on the radar as far as if it's actually still on the ground, but as I turn here and give you a shot, it's, from what we're seeing, it's just a complete wall of rain. So I don't know if there's still a tornado in there tearing up damage. I haven't seen any power flashes in a while, I say, 4 or 5 minutes. But it is definitely just kind of consolidated into one big wedge that is just going to be just right now northeast of Chandler, Mike.
Okay, John, appreciate that. Let's go ahead and take a look at where the tornado is based on velocity. It's back in this soup, and that's what makes these.
More power flashes.
Yeah. Okay, hold on. Let's look here. More power flashes. That's what makes That's what makes these wedges so dangerous. They get so low, and they start pulling in so much humidity that you can't see them, and they look like literally fog banks, or clouds on the ground. But I can guarantee you, looking at velocity, there's a tornado in there. There's just no doubt about it. There's the tail cloud coming in, so it's right in through there. If you remember, back on May 3rd, when it lifted north past Moore into Midwest City, it had so much debris and so much fog and humidity in it, you couldn't see it once it got up to Midwest City and Hudaburg Drive. It just disappeared in all that muck. Well, this one has disappeared in the muck, and at velocity, so I can guarantee it's still on the ground. You can see the fog. See the fog around the perimeter? There's fog. There's actual visible fog forming around the perimeter. That's from the intense pressure drop around the vortex. When pressure falls, fog forms. You can see it, and that happened on May 3rd. Back in 1999, there was fog all around that big tornado. And you can see the fog there. I would say, John, that's probably on the left-hand side. I think that's where the tornado is. And you can see the feeder band coming in on the right-hand side. Where do you see those power flashes?
Yeah, you can't. Yeah, as soon as I said that, bam, 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 we had 2 or 3 of them right there.
Right John, that's going through Carney right now is what it's doing. Those power flashes were Carney.
Yeah, it's definitely grinding, and it's getting big, Mike.
Yeah, I've got it centered on the southern half of Carney right now, and it's on the ground. The southern half of Carney, Carney's being hit right now. The southern half of Carney, the southern half of town is in that tornado right now, and the other half of the tornado is on the southern edges of Carney. It's going through Carney. It's going through Carney right now. Large wedge tornado going through the town of Carney right now. The power flashes were probably the tornado crossing, I think that's US 177 over there. in Carney. John, keep looking for power flashes. It's in the southern half of Carney right now.
All right, yeah, Mike, we're just right over Chandler, looking back over the lake that's just north of it, and you can see this track. Okay. It's probably right now about 7 or 8 miles north of Chandler, and it is definitely, it's still growing, and the fog, like you talked about earlier, makes it so hard for anything to see, and we really can't even tell how big it is. But one thing, we're getting tons and tons of lightning strikes just ahead in the front end of this storm, but the back end here, it's definitely growing and continuing just to destroy everything in its path, Mike.
Tornado going through the town of Carney. It's back there in that muck. You can see the fog. You know, if you can flash back, you know, to May 3rd, it looked a lot like this. You have fog banks, bands of fog feeding in. That's the wall cloud, that big old low thing, and there it is right there. You can see the edge of the tornado right there. There's the wall. There's the wall of it. It is a violent,
there it is.
Could be a mile wide, and it just went through the southern and southeastern sides of Carney, and it's on the blacktop eastbound. It's on the blacktop. Now you can see it much more clearly now. There it is on the blacktop on the east side of Carney. I know a gentleman over there by the name of Mike, and he's got his house is right there on the east side of Carney. That's where it is. I hope he's okay. He's got a vineyard up there. There it is, still on the ground.
You still got it. You can definitely see it now. The rain is actually pushed forward into the feeder, or into the feeder part of the storm. Huge wedge that's on the ground. Right behind it, you have a couple that scud that's rotating, and right behind it, you have another heavy band of rain, and you have some scud that's rotating and trying to come down. So I don't know if this storm has that much energy. It's going to try and set 2 of them out of it. But definitely, you can see right here the town of Carney is definitely in its path. I'm just about 1.5 miles north of Chandler,